All right, today we're talking about solving one-step equations, but only the addition aspect of it, okay? So with that being said, the first thing I want to talk about is the opposite operation and the additive inverse. So if when I talk about operations, I'm talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So if I said the operation was addition, you would say that the opposite operation would be subtraction. And the operation was subtraction, the opposite would be addition. Now this goes along with the additive inverse, okay? So the additive inverse the main word is inverse, obviously. So with additive inverse, what it's saying is, what do you add to a number so that the result would be 0? Okay? So in other words, if I had A plus what would give me 0? And the answer is negative A. So negative A, let me put it this way, over here. So negative A is the additive, I hate writing in small letters, is the additive inverse of A. And A is the additive inverse of negative A. Okay, so you see what I mean by opposite operations as well, right? Because if you really think about it, positive A is like adding A, and negative A is like minus A. Same difference, okay? So when you see minus A is the same thing as saying it's a negative A. So take the sign in front of the coefficient as the value of that term, okay? So a couple of things they're going to ask you in this homework assignment. One is going to be, is blank a solution? So anytime they ask you this question, all they're saying is, hey, we're going to give you a value for the variable. Tell us if that is true or not. So, for example, it's going to say is 5 a solution of 5x plus 5 equal to 30. So is 5 a solution? Meaning, if I was to solve this equation right here, okay, and this is an equation because there's an equal sign in it, all right? So if I was to solve this equation right here, would the x be 5, okay? So what I really want you to understand is that this 5 is really an x equals 5. That's what they're actually asking you, okay? So what do? What we would do is just basically replace the x with 5. And we're basically asking ourselves, is this true? So I'm only going to work on one side, work the left and the right side separately by themselves, not intermingling them. I'm just going to work the left side, I'm going to work the right side, and see if the two sides are equal to each other. So when I look at this, I get 25, because order operation says parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition, subtraction. So I have to multiply first, plus 5. Is that equal to 30? 25 plus 5 is 30. That is equal to 30. So yes, it is a solution, okay? So what are the other problems going to look like? The other problems are going to look something like this. It's going to tell you to solve using addition principle, okay? So addition principle is basically what I talked about up here with the additive inverse and opposite operation. So these are one-step equations. So literally, and we're doing only addition or subtraction in this particular section here. So example would be like x minus 9 is equal to 21, okay? So my whole goal is to get x, not just x, but 1x by itself. So because we do know that there is a coefficient here, okay, of a 1. It's always a 1 if there's no other numbers there, okay? So essentially, in solving, I want a 1x or 1y or 1t or 1z to equal to the result, okay? So it's a positive 1 is what I want, okay? So with that being said, so what do I need to do? So number one, we always want to look at this as two-sided, right? Because an equation just means the left side and the right side are balanced. So this is kind of like a seesaw, okay? So if you think of it this way, that this is like a seesaw, and there is this right here, which is kind of looks weird, I know, because it's, all right. So if you want to think of it this way, we can look at it as, you know, we got people on here, whoa, and people on here, right? So as we put more and more people, we want people to be of same weight, right? As we add people on. So I should do it this way. Oh no, it's like a bad hangman. Okay, so let's say, for example, I put someone, and let's say the color represents the weight, right? So if I put someone else over here, I will have to put someone else over here. If I put a different person over here, I'll have to put a different person over here, okay? So that this way it's always balanced. However, if I was to take away one person here, undo. Then I'll have to take this same equivalent weight away from the other side, okay? So as you're watching me do this, you're gonna see exactly that's what's gonna happen. So in this case, I want the x by itself. So I want this by itself, okay? So what's attached to it? It's a minus 9. What's opposite of minus 9 is to add 9. So if I add 9 to the left side, I have to add 9 to the right side. So then I want to look at, okay, the left side, if you notice that, let me do it this way. If we notice that negative 9 and positive 9 kind of cancel each other out, okay? So what do I have left on the left side? The left side, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's let it come all the way down. Okay. The left side is only going to have x left, okay? Because you know what? Let's use this. Because this is going to give me 0, okay? So then that's equal to 30, okay? So x is equal to 30. So if we were to check it, if we brought back this x minus 9 equals 21, if this was 30, wouldn't 30 minus 9 equal to 21? Yep. Okay. So you can always check your answer to see if it's right. Just plug it back in to see. Okay. All right. Let's take this away, not that away. Undo, undo. There we go. All right. So, another example. Let's say I got negative 43 plus p equals 8. Okay. Same thing. I got this bar down the center. Okay. I'll make it a little crooked because I want to bring this to the middle of the sign. Okay. All right. So, again, I want to get the p by itself. Oops. Undo. Make this big again. So I want the p by itself again. Okay. So in other words, I got to get rid of the 43. How? There's minus 43 or negative 43, so I want to add 43. If I add 43 on one side, I got to add 43 on the other side. Now it makes me want to get rid of that and do the same thing again over here because I don't like it messy. Okay, so on the left side, negative 43, positive 43 goes away. I'm left with a p equal to 8 plus 43 is 51. Okay, let's try another example here. Let's see. Ooh, things that you guys love. X plus 1/8 is equal to negative 1/4. Okay, so I got fractions. So here is what I want to do. Number one, I could do it this way. This would be probably the easiest way to do it. Now, if all three were fraction, then I might do it differently. Or if the x had a fraction, then I might do it differently. And I'll show you guys that as we go, okay? So this one, still the same thing here. I still have this line down the center, okay? And my goal is still to get x by itself, okay? So I still want to get x by itself, so I got to get rid of the 1/8. It's a positive 1/8, so I want to subtract the 1/8, okay? So here's the thing. You're not used to seeing this up and down. You're used to seeing this right here. You're used to seeing this right here as a negative 1/4 minus 1/8. Okay? So remember we talked about this of how to add and subtract rationals, or we call them fractions, right? So this is adding or subtracting rationals, and we call them fractions. And what do we know about that? What do we need to do? We need common denominators. Okay? So what's a common denominator? Now, the way I taught you was to break 4 down into a prime. So 4 breaks down to a 2 times 2, while 8 breaks down to a 2 times 2 times 2. Remember the factor trees, right? And then we look at what's in common, right? There's a 2 in common. There's another 2 in common, right? No, I'm sorry. Wrong chapter here. All right, so what we want to look for is what does she have that I don't have? Okay, so what does she have that I don't have? That's what I want to look for. So if I was a 4, if I was the sister, and I was 4, I know I'm not a very pretty sister. What does 8 have that I don't have? 8 has another 2 that I don't have. Okay, so let's say that you're 8. Like, what does 4 have that I don't have? Oh, sorry. What does 4 have that I don't have? Well, I have everything 4 has, so I don't need anything. Okay, so when you look at these two now, don't they all have 3 2s? Okay, so that means I'm going to multiply the 4 by 2. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. Okay, so that means I probably should make this all totally different color, like right there. Make it blue. This right here, blue. That right there, blue, and this right here, blue. There we go. That looks better. That makes it a little bit easier, and then I'll just change this to orange. There we go. All right. That means I gotta make this orange. Not that orange. There we go. All right. So anyways, now we can go back here and make this. So now I have a negative 2 over 8 minus 1 over 8. So what we said was then we add and subtract the add and subtract the top, keep the bottom. So this is now going to be a negative 3 over 8. So let's bring this back. So the right side is going to equal to negative 3 over 8. And our left side is what? Positive 1/8, negative 1/8. Cancels each other out. I'm left with an x equals negative 3/8. That's not what I wanted. I want this. So there's my answer. Okay? All right. So again, remember that everything that we learn from day 1 is going to come back. Everything from day 2 is going to come back. Everything from day 3 is going to come back. All right. So we don't want to just learn it just to pass the quiz, pass the module exam, and then move on and forget it. All of it is going to all come back. Okay. Now notice how this problem right here looked different from this problem right here, which looked different from this problem right here. But conceptually speaking, we're still doing the same thing. And the concept is about inverses and the opposite operation. Okay, so we're still doing exactly the same thing. No matter what it looks like, we're still doing the same thing. Okay, all right, let's see. Oh, and that is all the problems I have for you. So I hope this answers your questions and you can get your homework done. If not, let me know.